Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on This Side of Home by Renée Watson. This is a contemporary young adult novel. You are following this girl named Maya who has an identical twin sister named Nikki. They are living in Portland in sort of like a rundown neighborhood. They're black, their father is sort of like a mentor for young black men in the community, and it is their senior year of high school, or the summer right before his senior year of high school is when the story starts. Maya and Nikki basically have gotten along their entire lives. They've always had this plan of them and their best friend Essence, who lives across the street, the three of them finishing high school, going to Spelman College together in Atlanta, Georgia, which is like a historically black college, and sort of them and their three friends slash boyfriends all just sort of growing up together. But then it seems like there are a lot of changes happening within the neighborhood and within Maya's life. The neighborhood seems to be getting sort of like remodeled. A lot of businesses, particularly white businesses, are moving into the neighborhood. It's going through this period of like gentrification. A lot of the apartments and houses in the area are increasing their rent, so a lot of people are being forced to move, including Essence and her mom. And then a white family moves in across the street, and you know, stuff happens. This was a really interesting book. It's a new release for 2015, and I've had this one on my list since I had first heard about it because it sounds super interesting. It covers a lot of topics that you don't normally read about, or at least I don't normally read about in young adult contemporary books. It talks a lot about race and race relations in modern culture. It talks about gentrification, and it covers like the pros and cons of these neighborhoods sort of improving themselves but also pushing out the people who originally lived there. It talks about interracial relationships and the minefield that comes with that, especially at such a young age. So this was just really interesting overall, and I totally recommend it just for the fact that it's so different from anything else that I've ever read before. I found the writing to be just fantastic, really easy to read. I read through this in like 2 days. The only issue that I really had with this book is that it feels a little bit like it's trying to do too much, that it doesn't do any single thing particularly excellently. A lot of stuff just seems to get resolved relatively easily. A lot of different conflicts arise, and I feel like they all just end just so neatly in a way that isn't really realistic, particularly on the romantic end of things. It feels like people are just willing to accept things and then move on from the situation, which isn't always the case, and it felt like that just happened way too many times. But in general, I really enjoyed this. It brings up a lot of really interesting issues, and it also just talks about the importance of discussing all of these different topics, and I feel like Renée Watson does a really good job of being relatively balanced on the topic. You can see like obviously where like the different characters lie, but I feel like there are enough characters taking both sides of the situation that you see like the pros and cons of all of this. You see that it's not a very black and white issue. That phrase. Yeah, like a lot of this is very gray, and there is no perfectly right answer to a lot of the problems that are brought up within this book, which is something that I really like. In the end, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The ending is a little bit too happily ever after for me, but I feel like that's just the case when it comes to young adult contemporary. That's not anything new, so I can't really fault it for that. But yeah, I really liked it. If you like young adult contemporary books, pick this up. If you don't like young adult contemporary books, I feel like this is still a pretty decent one to pick up if you need something that's relatively quick but also engaging. Yeah, this was a really good, really surprising book that I totally recommend. So yeah, that is my review of This Side of Home. If you've read this book, feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of it. Or if you have any questions about the book, feel free to leave that down in the comments. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.